This will be the final entry of As the World Burns, Scorched Earth Trench Fire Edition season finale, at least for this round, of the miles and miles of scorched trench that exist around me right now. There's some melted pipe toward the end of this video and some other melted plastics and stuff down in the trench. We are at Center Street and 100 West. Looking at some more, and this person's of course stopped right here at the fucking intersection waiting to try and be nosy. Cruise on down the road a little bit here. This is actually closer to the area where I filmed the same phenomenon a year ago. Over here on the west side of Main Street. And here I don't see any. Oh, yes I do. On this side of the trench. And the tips of that grass right there. But this is generally what unburned trench looks like, with the exception of little spots like this. A guy with a torch doesn't come along and hit a spot here and a spot there, and it doesn't leave a blade of grass looking like that, with little spots. The tips even of the green grass. And though it's much more subtle, you gotta know what you're looking for, but the tips of all that grass is burned. Come up here a little bit further in the same trench. We got leaves turned to ash right there. You can see the burn line right here. And if you know what you're looking at, you can actually see the telltale signs all over the place. Right there above my finger. There's plenty of it up in here. It burned up into the grass over here. Yeah. There's some easily visible stuff right here. And we got people wondering, what the fuck is this guy doing? Who do you think you are, filming my burned trench? And it's all along here. Here's some more. Some more of the tips. The tips of each of these blades of grass. The tips of these blades of grass. You see? You see? Scorched trench. All the way through Heber. I wonder if this time anyone will notice the tips of the grass. A torch would burn the whole blade of grass. Electricity only burns where it enters and where it exits. And in this case, I believe the electricity is coming up and exiting out the tip of each blade of grass. So this whole trench is scorched. And so is the next one. In fact, the next one's way scorched. I don't even need to get back on the bike. I'll just walk it. I need to do a little better camera work. But this whole trench is just scorched all the way along, highly visible. All the way down. I'll stop at the more impressive spots, but this whole thing, I don't know how well you're able to see it on the camera, but everything in here is burned. There's a good pile of leaves turned to ash. And some more of them right over there. See the difference between the black leaves and the brown leaves? All of these other black leaves that you see all throughout the trench were brown the day before. Here you can see brown ones in the middle, black ones over on the edge. Some burned paper towel right here. Some burned blades of grass sticking out there. And the whole thing, you can see the burn line go right along here. Burned below, unburned above. Been over this a few times, but I can't become so punch drunk that it's just like, I'm not going to document it. People already saw. Yeah, but they still haven't realized what it is I'm showing them. It's not real for them yet. See these blades of grass? They broke off from right here. The tips that are burned and broken right here. They were connected down here, I believe. Anyway, it's weird how I feel like I'm doing something wrong and I gotta be cool and keep it on the down low lest someone come chastise me and set me straight and give me a piece of their mind and tell me how I'm not supposed to be doing what I'm doing and that somehow I'm in violation of some sort of code of conduct and cultural custom and that I need to not do that. But that's the type of response that so many, it's like pathological, an emotional impulse comes over them and they jump into super Karen mode. There's a police car right there. Slightly scorched. Yeah, you can see some burnt leaves and shit down there by that rock. But I think I'm just going to look around for the more impressive spots, like where there's more than just telltale signs. But there's telltale signs all over, so I think it's important that I cover the quantity. We're now at Center Street and 300 West. And yes, I can see the telltale signs in there. These burnt leaves right up against the... And then there's the standard burn line that follows the grass line right here. Basically, any spot, you pick a spot along here, I could stop, jump down in the trench, and show you up close the burnt tips of grass. Looks like someone mowed their grass today, and there's grass clippings down in there now. I gotta act like I'm FaceTiming with someone. Be like, oh yeah? What else is going on, man? How you doing, bro? Act like I'm talking to someone on the other end of the phone here. There's a good burnt line. Right here. You see? Yeah. Trying to get it to turn to ash for you and fly away a little bit, but I can just brush the blackened tips. Here we got the blackened tips. Brush them away. Now they're gone. A torch doesn't just burn the tips. You see? The scorched trench line. Yeah. And so it goes all the way down. Yeah. Yeah, this whole trench has got a lot of really easily visible evidence in it. Gotta wait until I hit a cool spot though where there's no one looking. See the burnt grass that goes up onto the side of the bank here? Oh, we got some sun coming out. Sometimes that doesn't really help. It creates an angle of light, and it's better when it's just ambient background light. Yeah. Anyway, it feels like it gets a little redundant. Maybe from this side be better. I'm losing my stuff. Yeah. But yeah, anyone approaches me, says, "Hey, what do you think you're doing?" I'm gonna just keep recording during the conversation. That way, when they become hostile and belligerent and aggressive with me, it's all on record. Because that's what happens for whatever strange, bizarre reason. That's what happens. And I think we got a little more trench down here. We definitely got a dog down here. Okay, I'm going to pause it. We just did Center Street. We're up to 5th West. A little bit of scorched trench there. Let's go look at this one. Oh yeah. In fact, there's some melted plastic down in there, I think. Oh yeah, there's some melted plastic down in there. See the melted plastic all over the rocks? And the blackened tips of the grass. Maybe come grab that from this side. This part of the grass right here is burned. Looks like not only do we have melted plastic here, but there's some burnt cardboard or something right there. Let's hop down in there. Show you the burnt cardboard. Yeah. Some melted plastic. Oh yeah, that always happens in the irrigation trenches, man. I remember seeing that back when I was a kid. That's totally normal. Actually, went and got me a new haircut and some new shoes so I can look all legit so people feel less inclined to approach me. Because it adds an air of legitimacy and respect and credibility and all that if you've got a fresh, clean haircut and some nice shoes and you dress good. You're less likely to approach and try and start talking down to you and shit. Now we're at 100 North and 400 West. And I see some scorched trench here in front of us. Yeah, that's what I'm pulling over for. Yeah. You see? Oh, we had it. Until something got in my way. Look at the circular tip of this one where my finger's pointing. This one here. Charcoal. So the tips of all these are turned to charcoal. You can see some more of them down in there. You got the leaves here on this one. That's not flame touching it. That's not flame touching it. That's electricity moving through it. Likewise with the rest of these. So anyway, again, notice just the tip of this little tiny branch sticking out here. And the tip of the one by my palm over there. And the unburned places in between the charcoal. Flame doesn't do this. So the whole trench is scorched all the rest of the way down. I need a drop of gear. And we'll be on our way. Whole trench is scorched. Don't know if you can see. Oh, it's not even focusing very well for me. There we go. See the burn line right here? Oh, something happened. It's not, I'm gonna have to restart this video. That was in a different format, but maybe that format will actually be better. See the burn spot right there above my finger? Kind of goes up onto the bank here. Yeah, I'll pull over. I'm just so nervous about people coming and saying, hey, what the fuck you think you're doing? But if and when they do, I'll just say, here, let me educate you about plasma fire. See these burnt leaves? The whole bank is scorched here on the edge. Got Johnny Fence Builder building a fence over there. And there's something that happens, man. They go into hero mode when they encounter me. This whole trench is scorched. With unburned right under it. Here's some more of the tips. Fire wouldn't burn just different pieces of the blade of grass. It would burn the whole blade of grass. Then you have the same thing on these. Fire doesn't just burn the tips of the grass. Electricity does that. And the whole rest of this trench, I think you can probably see the signs now. Scorched all the way along. And away we go. Oh, this one's got some water in it. This ought to be interesting. I don't see any burnage. There's some people getting out of a car right there, so I'm going to just cruise right on by. But yeah, that last segment was scorched. This segment is scorched. Kind of doing a little grid pattern. This segment I don't see any scorch. Kind of trying to do a little grid pattern to map out how much of the irrigation trench is burned. This one I don't see any yet. Don't see any yet. Oh, here we go. Definitely, like, you can see that right there. And then just all these little black spots along here. It's got the telltale signs. This has a whole lot of scorching over there. Intermittent with unburned stuff in between the burned areas. These, they are scorched. If I got down there close, I could show you that the tips of the grass is burned. Yes, I can see the scorchage there. Yeah. I think I got a good enough shot there. Even you could see it. On this one, the burn goes clear up into here. No need to get carried away, but this does have the good example of the tips. If we could get it to focus near. Flame doesn't just burn this part and then leave this part unburned and then burn the tip. That's electricity. And it's so alien that it strikes a chord in people. I don't know what it is. But they want to shoot the messenger real bad. I don't know what's happening to my voice. I'm going a little hoarse or something. See how that just broke off? Scorchage everywhere. Yes, that's scorched. I ain't gonna stop. Yes, this is scorched. See some right there at the end of the log that goes up to the log. Yes, this is scorched. Well, yes, you can see again with the tips of the grass. This one, it burns up into here. Again, flame doesn't just burn part of a blade of grass, it burns the whole blade of grass. Starting to pick up what I'm putting down here. You seeing this repeating pattern? Where even though this is just one piece of grass, just the tips, right there where my thumb is, right there where my thumb is, right there where my thumb is, and unburned in between the burn areas. That's electricity coming up through it, not flame touching it from the outside. Likewise with all of these blades of grass. Repetitive pattern over and over and over again. And so it goes with all these pieces of grass. And some on the other side of the bank there. But you gotta get real close and you gotta have the eyes to see. Amen. Can I get a plasma fire? Amen. I gotta switch hands, so I'm gonna have to pause it for a minute. Here you can see the little black spots that have come up on the corner of the bank, moved up over the edge there. You'll see little plasmosis action. And so it goes on down. You can see a little bit more right here. Let's come up over the edge of the bank. Burning into the green grass area. More of the tips. Oops, kind of messed that one up. But yeah, if you don't know what you're looking for, you don't even see it. But once you see it all over, and you're the man with one eye in the land of the blind. And he is not king. He's strung up at the first post. He's witch hunted. He's crucified. He's burned at the stake. And that's why I'm so nervous when going around doing this, because I know how people react. It's pathological. It's not from a place of logic or reason that they decide to start persecuting me on the spot when they see me doing what I'm doing. It's spiritual. They have the adversary spirit while I'm over here trying to document and reveal the truth. The spirit in them is adversarial to the spirit in me. It's a compulsive impulse, pathological, driven, emotional impulse that suddenly comes over them, and they decide I'm the enemy and they have to defeat me and somehow make me out to be the villain. They're going to play the hero and protect all these hypothetical victims from you and your camera. It's unbelievable. But I've been doing this 7 years now, so I know what to expect. Okay, I'm about to start recording over here at 100 South and 100 West. And as I was about to start recording there a moment ago, a cop pulled up to the intersection, so I threw my phone in my pocket real quick and then cruised on, acted real nonchalant and casual, like, yeah, I ain't doing nothing. And I know the cop would be cool with me. In fact, I would tell him, look, I'm trying to be nonchalant and very discreet about what it is I'm doing here, because I know there's a very good reason that we kind of keep this to ourselves. It's not the kind of thing you want to let the women and children notice. So I'm trying not to draw too much attention to myself while I'm documenting this. And he'd be like, all right, well, just try and be as discreet as you can, because like you said, okay, it looks like we're at 200 North. Maybe this is where I was. When the cop... Maybe I need to go back a street. I'm in the right spot. 200 North, 100 West. And I was about to start recording this scorched trench. And the cop pulls up to the intersection, so I throw my phone in my pocket and try and carry on. And yes, this is all scorched. I'm not going to get too much close up until I see something that's a little more eye-popping. Well, what I was about to say before I decided to conceal myself is that the reason people respond to me the way that they do when I'm showing this, it's not from the logos or ethos. It's pathos. Logos and ethos are conscious thought processes. Pathos is subconscious thought processes and motivations. Logos is logic, reason, rationale, left brain, analytical type of mental thought processes. Ethos is morals and ethics and principles. Pathos is like subconscious emotional impulses or compulsions that drive behavior patterns. That's what pathological means. And people's response when they see me doing this is a very hostile, aggressive attack from the pathos. It's pathological. It's not based on logic and reason and rationale that I don't want you looking at that and drawing anyone's attention to it. And yes, there's scorched trench and all this. It's not from ethos, based on morals and ethics and principles and ideals. I don't think you should be documenting that. It's from a pathologically driven place in their heart. They don't know why they feel so opposed to what it is I'm doing. They just know that there's something about it that's wrong, and we're going to figure out what it is. I can't give it a good explanation. I can't really define why I feel so strongly opposed to what you're doing. I just feel that way, so I'll come up with something that sounds logic and reasonable, or sounds like it's based on ideals and principles and morals and ethics, but it's not. It's driven on an emotional impulse. They don't know why they feel the way they do, and they want so badly for me to not see this and not show this. That's why I say it's spiritual. And all of these little pieces of grass along here have this same pattern. We even got some up next to the pole here. See the charcoal grass? So anyway, Moving along, officer. I'm trying to keep it on the down low and not draw too much attention. I know that you know that I know you know that we need to kind of keep this to ourselves, and that's why the public's not aware of it, and I totally understand the need for that, to keep it, under the radar of most people, because, like, when people were rushing out of the fires in LA and there was gridlock, people abandoned their cars and they had to come along and bulldoze some of those cars out of the way. When people are trying to escape an inferno, you think they care about blowing a stop sign or a red light? No. Traffic laws don't matter at that point. And if the whole world knew about the electricity coming up out of the ground, lighting the ground beneath their feet on fire, none of the other laws would matter at that point either. They would blow every red light and stop sign, and that would just be the start of it. They would completely abandon all adherence and obeyance of laws. When they know the circumstances that world's on fire and there's nothing the authorities can do about it, they don't have this under control, well then they don't have the people under control anymore either. Where are we now? We're at 300 west, 200 north. And yes, this is all scorched. Maybe I'll hop down in there. Oh, I see a broken beer bottle. So we'll hop down in, show you some more of the burned grass tips. Same pattern over and over and over and over. Flame doesn't burn grass like that. I assume this beer bottle was already broken. Oh, there's a half-burnt pine cone. Anyway, so the trench is scorched all the way down. I just came in here to give you a close-up, so you know that's what we're looking at. Scorched trench all the way along. So I'll stop every 50 to 100 feet and give you a still shot and a close-up. If I see something that's a little more burned than the rest, it's all scorched. This part goes clear up into the green grass. Yes, this little pit is scorched. You can see right there on the backside. Keep it moving. Keep it moving. That way anyone gets any smart ideas. Hey, I'm gonna call the cops and tell them there's this guy acting all weird. They need to come check him out. I don't know what he's doing, but he's not doing what everyone else is doing, and that's what you're supposed to do. Right? I mean, right? Flame doesn't burn just the tips on the underside, pal. Tell yourself whatever you need to tell yourself so you can sleep at night. But don't say it in my comment section, and when people say shit like that, I snap back pretty hard. That way, I'm not trying to convince the person who left the comment. I'm doing that for the sake of others who might come along and read that comment, and at first glance, it sounds like it's plausible. Yeah, maybe they're intentionally burning the ditches to burn the stuff so that water flows better through it. It was a guy with a torch. Yeah, that sounds good. And if you think about it for about 5 seconds, it's absolutely ridiculous nonsense. Yes, all this is scorched. Absolutely ridiculous nonsense. You see the burn area. Here is unburned leaves. Just above it, here is a bunch of burned leaves. And here is a bunch of burned tips of grass. And that's what all the trenches look like. All the way down, back and forth. It makes absolutely no sense burning the trench with a torch so you can clear the weeds so water can flow better. That's not a thing, but you'll make it up on the spot and it makes you feel better. Yes, this is all torched. And we got a little yappy dog. I just need to grab a couple gears so I can pedal through this. All scorched. You see? Same pattern over and over. Scorched all the way down. And where are we reaching? We got to be to about 600 west now. I think we're on 200 north. Next we'll be on 300 north. Cruising back to the east. And I'm sure there'll be plenty of scorched trench over there as well. Now that I think about it, by the way, this is unburned trench. We are on 300 north, coming up on 500 west. If anyone called the cops and said, hey, I'd like to report some suspicious activity, there's this guy acting real weird, can you guys send someone to give him a wellness check, see if he's got his mind right? Well, what's he doing, sir? I don't know, he's crouching down in the irrigation ditch. Looks like he's taking pictures of weeds or bugs or something up close in the irrigation ditch, and he just keeps moving along and doing it again. The cops would know exactly what I'm doing, and they'd say, yeah, sir, we'll go check it out immediately. The cops would already know. We've got one who can see. When they receive a report describing my behavior, they know right off the bat. I know what this guy's doing. The neighbors don't know what he's doing because they can't see what's in the trench. But the cops know. We got someone who can see what's in the trench, and he's checking it out, taking pictures and stuff. Surprisingly, there wasn't any on 300 north, but now we're back at 400 north and 100 west, and we're cruising back to the west, and this trench is loaded. Yeah, everything in here. I could get up close and show you the burnt tips. There's some people over there doing karaoke. Ooh, that weed's kind of a keeper. Same pattern all the way down. So if the guy calling the cops saying, yeah, this guy's got to be on drugs. I've never seen such behavior. He keeps crouching down into the trench. Like he's taking pictures of bugs or weeds or something. He's got to be on drugs, officer. There's some suspicious behavior going on over here. Officer say, you done real good. Master say, you done real good, Joe Bubba Six Pack. You see something, say something. And we'll send someone right over. Because he's not doing what everyone else is doing and acting like everyone else, so there must be something wrong with him. No. There's something wrong with the rest of you dumb motherfuckers who cannot see this. So if you ask people if there's one guy who can see things that 100,000 other people around him can't see, then that guy must be delusional and hallucinating and demented and have some sort of mental illness, right? And every one of the other 100,000 people would say, well, yeah. If he can see things that the rest of the 100,000 people, no one else can see, then clearly he's the one that's delusional, mentally ill, hallucinating, and demented. Well, yeah, all 100,000 of us agree that he's the one who's fucked in the head because he can see things that none of the rest of us can see. And then you show him, but this guy's got a whole storage unit full of these hollowed out trees, and it turns out the world really is burning around you from the inside out. So it's the rest of you 100,000 people that are fucked in the head, and the one guy who can see it, he's just normal. He's baseline average level of perception, not super powers level of X-ray vision. He can just see what's right in front of his face. It's the rest of you that have some sort of deficiency, willful ignorance, cognitive dissonance, to a degree that you are hallucinating. You are living in a delusion in a world where trees don't burn from the inside and electricity doesn't come out of the ground. And people say, well, if you're the only one who can see... Oh, this one's kind of cool. It's just a hole. It's just a small spot of... Oh, and we got some burned foam. Little Nerf football foam. Okay, so you see the burnage, right? And this piece of foam, whatever it is, has some serious burnage on it. And the tip of this turned to charcoal. And all these weeds have the tips of all of them blackened. You see? And so the whole pit, you can see the burnage goes up into here, comes around the edge. Oh, this one's kind of cool. So we do have some of these that are sticking out on the surface that do have the blackened tips. Usually it stays down in the trench for the most part. If it would focus. It's really not helping on the focus. But look at this one. It's got a little bit of, a few charcoal spots running up it. Intermittently scattered amongst a few, a few unburned spots. Which direction we going? I think we're still going west. And this one looks, yes, it's scorched. I can see it from here. I try and pop in for a close-up every now and then. Here you can see the burn area goes clear up into here. But like once you've seen one or two scorched trenches, you've seen them all. But just to give you, I will always know that these trenches that I'm passing were all scorched and that there's miles and miles of scorched trench. But for the sake of the viewer, I like to get a few close-ups, and preferably out where I'm a couple hundred, well, as far as I can be away from a house. Yes, this is all scorched trench. All these weeds sticking up have the tips of them burned. Scorched all the way down. And this is all scorched trench as well. Ain't gonna get in too close. That's a good spot. You can see all the burned grass that comes clear up into here. So that will serve as our close-up for the moment. Gotta keep it moving, keep it moving. Don't give them long enough to get a smart idea. Okay, we're cruising up here at 200 north and 600 east. And yeah, that trench right there is scorched a little bit here and there, but there's someone out there on the front porch, so I won't be swooping in there. But right up here at the next block, it creeps up out of the trench up to the telephone pole, blatantly enough. Did you notice the telephone poles all throughout this video have that discoloration on the bottom 3 feet or so? That is also electrolysis. That is the electricity coming up out of the ground. Sometimes the bottom is lighter color than the top 90% of the pole, but most of the time it looks like that one that you see on the right. Like all of the creosote within the pole melts and goes to the bottom because it's being warmed or heated. Not enough to make it burn, but enough to discolor the bottom like that. And the telephone poles in your area have the same discoloration as well. Keep an eye out for it and you'll be able to see it. Right up here at the next block, it creeps up out of the trench up to the telephone pole, blatantly enough that if anyone says, "Hey, what are you doing?" I'm going to say, "Hey, I noticed you had a fire here. Maybe you need to figure out what happened. Maybe there's a short. You need to call the power company, and there's a short in the line creating this." So all along here, as you can see, I got some obstacles in front of me here. They're all along here. We got plasma scorched trench. Yeah. And I'm going to hop down in and check it out. Because right over here, it comes up. Yeah. And it's burned this area right here. Where you can see the tips of the grass as usual, if it would focus, are all burned. Just the tips. No dirty jokes. We're talking plasma fire here. Let's keep it clean. And as you can see, scorched all along here. These are some good tips, images. A torch doesn't do that. Electricity coming out does that. Yeah, and so it's scorched all up in here. But here you got some sticks down in there. Looks like we can hop down in there and show you how it's unburned, burned, unburned down at the other end. Let's turn it over, see how it looks on the bottom side. It's even got a little charcoal on the bottom side where it started to turn to ash. So the bottom side is much more burned than the top side, but it wasn't touching anything. It was radiating up. Same with this one. Black on the downward facing side. See? Let's go check out some of these other sticks that are here in the trench. Unburned strip, if we can get the focus to help. And on the bottom side, it's even like turned to ash in some of these spots. Let's check out some of these. Unburned on the top, and survey says that one didn't do it. Come on. Give me some magic stick burns. Magic stick burn. It's kind of got the same thing as the other one. Unburned here at the edge of the trench. Burned here, and then unburned at the bottom. It only burned from here up to here, the width of the trench. That one didn't give me the magic stick effect. This one's got a nice burn spot right on the end. But otherwise unburned. Put it back there, let it live right there. See the tips. Fire don't do that. Check out some more of these magic sticks. This one, it's just hanging over in the middle. It's not even touching the ground. But on the bottom side, it's burned. It's just having trouble focusing for me. Burned on the bottom side where it was just hanging over into the trench. Unburned on the top side, like the energy is radiating up and cooking the bottom side of it there. Anyway, and the whole trench is scorched all the way down. Time to blow this popsicle stand. Yeah, I don't think people realize this is actually happening, even the people that watch this channel. It's just like a unique hobby of a guy on YouTube who notices the world around us burning. I think we already checked this one out. 600 east, 100 north. Maybe we didn't. Because it burns clear up into here. And it's highly scorched all up in there. You can see right here on the front side, right at the front of the trench where the pipe comes out of the ground right there. And all the usual patterns. Oh, and it even melted. This is plastic PVC pipe. See how it melted the pipe? It's plastic PVC pipe that was cut right here, and only the bottom half of the pipe from here to there. And it has melted. That pipe was cut. That wasn't melted before the plasma fire. They don't cut it with a hot blade. Plasma fire melted that like a hot knife through butter. Same plasma fire that created all this ash and all this charcoal. Here's another piece that's buried here in the ground. And it too is melted on the ends. Come on, where's my mess? Pretty crazy. That's some hard stuff to melt. That stuff don't melt until high temperature. Look at that right there. You can definitely see, if it would focus in the right spot, there we go, that it's melted. I think it takes pretty high temperature to melt this stuff. Yet there's unburned leaves here and around here. Crazy. Plasmosis. All the way down the trench. Make a clean getaway before any of these normies get some smart ideas. Cruise on down. Show you the burned weeds right there where the bridge crosses the creek. Pretty good spot right there. So if they come out, I can point right there and go, look. Maybe I did already. I think I did. I think I already covered this because I seem to remember that spot right there. Oh yeah, this is where the guy was up here washing his car. That's a good spot right there to point out to him. Right here. I could go pinch some ash off there, but I won't. Notice the tip of that PVC pipe sticking out, it's black. Here's a pretty solid burn line. I'll probably just get a few intermittent spots. Right now I'm going north-south. This trench is scorched. Before, all the roads that I've done, I've kind of done a grid pattern. First, I've been going the east and west routes. And yes, this is all hella scorched. But it's getting to be evening time. I should probably come out in the morning, like 6 a.m. when the sun first rises. That way I run into fewer people. Yeah, I think I'm going to do that. Some good scorchage going on here. You can see the difference between the burned and the unburned. And it spared the Gatorade bottle, but right next to it is a patch. And then you can see right there, center screen, is a patch of burned grass. Yeah. And cruising along. It's all scorched. If I see something worth stopping and zooming in on, I will. But it's all scorched. Basically, the place you can see it the most is right at the burn line at the bottom of the grass. There's a car coming, so I gotta act like I'm doing something normal. Blend in with the zombies. Okay, I think this will be the last video that I do, trying to just show the quantity of burned trench. Unless I see something that sticks out like extraordinary. Because this has become ordinary. This is just the routine. And 50 to 75% of the open trenches in Heber, you can see the burn line where just the tips of the grass are burned. 50 to 75% of the open trenches in Heber right now have this going on. See the line? And on down we go. So I think that's a wrap for the scorched trench documentation. Unless and until I see something that really stands out. Because I've done a grid pattern enough that I know about 50 to 75% of all the trenches. Here, we're coming up on another one up here. That's a hole right there, probably got some in it. Dude on his motorcycle probably want to act tough. Hey, what are you doing? You know you're invading my privacy. But all of this is scorched. It's all burned. 75%. I'd say 75%. Oh, definitely over 50% of all the trenches within 1 mile of where I live in all directions have the burn.